Hi guys, it's Nicole, and today I am sharing a third project using the November 2021 Flavors of the Month kit. Here you can see all four flavors together, the embellishment add-on and the pattern paper add-on that is also available. There's also a cardstock add-on. I think I just didn't grab the image for that. Today I'm going to be working with the Simple Stories Simple Vintage Country Harvest. Now, Simple Stories is probably one of my top 3 favorite manufacturers. However, the Simple Vintage line, if it didn't come in my kit, I don't know that I would go out and buy this online. I think it's just not in my wheelhouse. I tend to like the style of their main collections. However, every time that these show up in the Flavors of the Month kit, it always forces me to really think creatively or find a way to fit it within my personal style. And then I tend to really like the finished layout. And this one was another one of those where I got done and I absolutely loved the layout. So the main kit comes with a sampling of the die cuts, and then you get a little sampling of the foam stickers. And I've said this before, if I can make a title out of what comes in the kit, that is what I'm going to do. I also pulled the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, which is from the embellishment add-on. And then here I was just showing that while I was printing photos for other kits, I drew myself a sketch of what I felt like would work for this. Sometimes if a kit comes and I don't initially think of something, I have to kind of marinate in it a little bit. And I will say that the kind of jumping off point for me for this one was actually the 12 by 12 sticker sheet and those large banner pieces that are sort of already clustered, and then they have cutouts to put smaller photos or small things within those windows. So I actually ended up cutting some sections of paper that I rotated 90 degrees. So meaning that the pattern is actually rotated 90 degrees, and it does matter because there is text on it. However, because I know that I'm going to be layering a bunch of stuff on top of it, you won't really notice, and it's just going to read as kind of like a messy, collagey looking type thing. I'm not even really concerned about the fact that the pre-printed image is actually on the right side as well, because I know that I'm going to put those big sticker banner things down there, and it's just going to kind of blend into the background and create kind of more layering look. From there, I started printing my photos. The little sketch that I drew myself, I just kind of pre-planned where I was going to put some 4x6 photos. Some of them I cropped down to 3x4, dropped them onto a 4x6 canvas. For whatever reason, this month I was struggling and fighting both of my printers. Normally, I don't like this large of a white frame. However, my printer did not care what I wanted. It was going to do what it wanted, and I was just going to deal with it. So these are a little chunkier than I would normally like, but overall in the end, I actually kind of liked the wider frame. So of course, the next time I want a wider frame, I'm not going to get it. But I did ink the edges of my pattern papers and my photos in some brown ink. To me, that just kind of helps go with, I don't want to say that the vintage lines are dirty, like that sounds bad, but they just kind of have like a worn in look to them. And so my brain always says, you have to ink the edges of the paper because that's what my brain says. But yeah, so this is kind of a typical style for me, especially on a 2-page. I really like to have the emphasis on my photos, and then I like to kind of pull my favorite pattern papers and make sure that those are kind of seen and represented as well. These are my little photos. I measured the openings on those big sticker banners and cropped these according to what sizes those were. And I'm going to show you here in just a second. I actually thought that this was one banner, and I pulled it up and I was like, oh, no, it's 2 individual banners. But I'm still going to go with the design that I had come up with, where it was just going to be two kind of big clustery banners sweeping across the layout. So I'm just going to tuck them close together, and it's going to read as if it is two, or not two. It's going to look like one sticker swag, if that makes sense. And I apparently was too lazy to cut this part out of the video, so had to do a quick change on my ATG. But this was absolutely my favorite part. As soon as I saw these and I saw that there was openings for photos, I was like, yes, this is perfect for squeezing in extra photos, photos that aren't that great, or ones that are very similar to the prominent 6x4 photos that I wanted, but maybe they're a different orientation and I didn't want to repeat them in larger sizes. That kind of thought. The dark brown wood grain pieces that I'm using here, I kind of use these as a buffer between like the super linear photo collage and then the more interesting embellishing area. This pattern also is printed to go the other orientation. I didn't care. I just needed 2 strips that didn't have the pre-printed like florally image on it. And like I said, by the time I cut it and it's smaller, you have no idea which way that paper was supposed to go. I've also mentioned in previous videos that if I can get a title from the main kit instead of going and getting thickers or die cutting a title, I will do that. So I knew my title was going to use the word harvest because that was the word that came in my kit. I want to go back and look at the collection online and see what other words I could have gotten, because I just think it's funny, like, you know, what were the other title options that this could have ended up being. I looked at the sticker sheet and I looked at the die cuts, and there was a die cut that said fall chill. I just cut the fall section off, so my title is basically just going to read fall harvest. The photos have nothing to do with harvest. Basically, I dragged my kids out to a like wetlands area near us. This is an area that if I do client photo sessions, I go out here, but I like to find new areas so that even though you're going to the same place, it still looks a little bit different. And so I drag my kids out there to go scouting areas because I kind of would prefer to practice with a person instead of just trying to take a photo of an area and then show that to a client and be like, hey, what do you think of this? So I dragged them out there. It was in October, so we actually accidentally found this cute little maze that the park had set up. We actually entered it backwards, so it was kind of funny that we were experiencing this story, but we were reading it backwards, and there was all kinds of cute little like spiders and scarecrows and all kinds of cute like fall themed stuff in there. So we snapped a couple pictures while we were in there. I did my typical journaling strips. I've said this before. It's quick, it's easy. I can do a bunch of layouts in one session in Word, one sheet of paper, and then I can get them to fit pretty much anywhere. I took one of the die cuts that came in my kit, stamped the date on it, and called it good. This is the type of layout that I absolutely love because I can fit a ton of photos where you have large focal photos, and then you also have those small like detail kind of photos that you can mix in as well. And then the like big banner stickers to me save a lot of time because they look visually interesting without having to do a lot of work yourself. So with that, I thank you guys for spending time with me, and I'll catch you guys later.